Hi, today I'm going to share my October wrap up. I'm really happy because I was able to read 23 books in October. I was really worried because I experienced a lot of difficulties in October, difficulties with my health, a change in my medication, and a change in my mood. So, to compare, I read over 30 books in August and I read 37 books in September. And by around October 15th, I think I read maybe 10 books. So I thought that October was going to be a complete bust. But somehow I managed to get 23 read, and I was really happy about that. Of the 23 I read, one was an audiobook, 20, excuse me, 2 were print books, and 19 were Kindle books. The reason that I read so many Kindle books is because as a reviewer, most of my books are advanced reviewer requests, and they come in the format of Mobi or Kindle. They comprise of 3 romances, three historical romances, 9 psychological thrillers, 4 mystery thrillers, 2 Christian romances or inspirational romances, which was a very first for me, and 1 cozy mystery. Now, I will definitely be referring to my notes, so forgive me for, as you see, my head keeps shifting to the other direction, and I apologize for that. Now, the first book I read was Coming Home to Maple Cottage. This is book number 1 in the Sandcastle Bay series by Holly Martin. I really enjoyed this book, and I gave it 4.5 stars. The next book was Someone to Love by Mary Balogh. I've given a review on this on my channel and, of course, on my blog. This one I gave 4 stars. It was really enjoyable. There were a couple of problems with it, which is why it only got 4 stars. Oh, I just want to make a note. Up to a point, every book that I'm going to mention here was reviewed on the channel, and I'll let you know what books did not get video reviews. But as I just mentioned, every book other than that got reviewed on my blog. And also, I will be putting links to the Amazon account for each book. And I think I may even go ahead and put the blog links for each review in the description below. I have to think about that. Sorry about that. The next book was The Christmas Cafe at Seashell Cove by Karen Clark. This one got 4.5 stars. It's a romance. It's the 3rd book in the Seashell Cove series. I was delighted to have read the first 2, and I really enjoy her writing, and I look forward to reading more by her. One of my favorite authors, at least until he kind of shifted into the paranormal world, is Dean Koontz. And this book here, The Forbidden Door, I'm sorry for the glare. The Forbidden Door is book number 4 in the Jane Hawk series. I read the first 3, and I have already put in a request for the 5th one, so I definitely will be continuing with this. I gave this one 4.5 stars. The next one was The Wife's Secret by Kerry Wilkinson. This I gave 4 stars. It was really a good book, but I was only able to give it 4 stars. It's a psychological thriller. Now, the next book I don't even have, I didn't even make a screenshot of, is Something Wicked by Kerry Wilkinson. Now, since I had just read The Wife's Secret and gave it 4 stars, I thought that I would enjoy Something Wicked. Unfortunately, after about 30%, it was a do not finish. It's a psychological thriller. I did do a promo post for it on my blog, and I'll link that promo post in case you do want to check it out. The next book I read was Our Little Lies by Sue Watson, another psychological thriller, and that was 4.5 stars. Then there was The Warning by Catherine Croft, another psychological thriller. This was for a blog tour, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I've got to get to the end. I want to pull up the next image, so just bear with me. That one is Mary Batlog's Someone to Hold, which is Westcott number 2 series. If I didn't already say, there's 5 books in the series so far. I got the fifth book, which is Someone to Trust from First to Read, which comes out November 27th. But since I am definitely a series individual, somebody who has to read an entire series, I went to the library, digital library, and I acquired all four titles. So far, I have read the first four, here this being the second one, and later today I will be starting the fifth one. And let's see, next was, just bear with me. This was Murder in Mind by Faith Martin. This was, I believe, book number 16 in the Hillary Green series. It was previously released as another title, and I'm drawing a blank as to what that was. But if you're interested in finding out, in case you read the series by Faith Martin before, when you check out the link in the from the blog, you'll see the reference to the previous title name. There is one more book in that series to come, which I'll be doing a blog tour for that as well. Then I read 5 Years Gone by Marie Force. This was a first for me for her name. I believe she's written over 40 books. It was absolutely delightful. I gave it 5 stars. And it's a contemporary romance, and that's basically it. But we kind of clued in that there is another book to come. So I don't know if it's going to be a series or if there'll just be a sequel in the next book. And I believe that's February or March. Then there was the third book in the Westcott series, which is Someone to Wed by Mary Balog. Another very enjoyable. This was one of my favorite of the 4 that I read so far. I gave this one 5 stars, and it's definitely a historical romance. Now, I got another book for review, which is from the Evelyn Talbot Chronicles. It is the third book. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm drawing a blank on that title. So I went back and I grabbed the previous books in the series in order to be familiar with the characters. The novella for that Evelyn Talbot series is Hanover House by Brenda Novak. I read it, I loved it, and I downloaded the next 2 in the series from my library, and I got the third for review on NetGalley. I gave this 4.5 stars, and it's a mystery thriller type of a book. It's kind of dark, at least the setting is kind of dark, but since I only read the novella, I don't know how it's going to proceed from there. Then I read, okay, it is at this point, I'm sorry, Hanover House. From Hanover House to the end of my October reads, I did not do video reviews. That's when my health really started to tank, and it was just very, very difficult to sit down and make videos. However, as I mentioned, they are reviewed on my blog. Now, the next book is Birthday Party Murder by Leslie Meyer. This is number 9 in the Lucy Stone series. There's 25 of them so far, and a couple of friends of mine and I are reading the series. I'm taking my time with it, not because it's not good. It's excellent, actually. I did give it 4 stars, but I have to take my time with it because I have a very, very full queue. I mean, extremely full. So it's taking me a while to get to these because they're not required reviews. Goodness, this is Baby Teeth by Zoje Stage. I hope I said that correctly. Let me tell you about this. I read a book called The Lies We Told by Camilla Way, and one of the characters in it was a little bit off her rocker, to put it mildly. Well, a friend of mine read the review and said, Robin, you have got to read Baby Teeth because you're going to read of a very similar character. I went to put this book on one night because I downloaded the Kindle copy, and then I went to Scribd and downloaded the audio version of it, and I reread the blurb, and I'm like, nope. My husband works at night. I was home alone. No, I couldn't read it. So I waited till the next day, and I was right. I'm glad I didn't read it that night because it was pretty. It's a psychological thriller, but it's very close on the edge of horror, which I do not read horror. So, but I'm going to tell you, I gave it 5 stars. It's a debut novel, but it is absolutely perfect. It really is. Now, I read Hidden, which is actually one of the few print arcs that I have, and that's by Rebecca Zanetti. And here it is right here. Horrible glare, forgive me for that. Hidden was book number 1 in the Deep Ops series by Ms. Zanetti. I don't know much about her. I do have another book for review to do for either November or December, but it was a good book. A mystery thriller. I gave it 4.5 stars. Let's see. Next, we have Tell Me No Lies by Alex Sinclair. This was a blog tour as well. I gave it 4 stars. It's another psychological thriller. When the Lights Go Out by Mary Kubica. This book was a problem. First of all, I gave it 3.5 stars. It's a mystery thriller, maybe a bit of a psychological thriller. This was a book that I put down maybe 3 times, and it was going to be a do not finish title. I do not like unfinishing books, but at the same time, I try to consider that life is very short. Do I really need to read everything, especially things that don't appeal to me? But anyway, I stuck with it. It did take me 3 days, actually. 3 days, which is ridiculous to read this book. And at the end, I'm kind of mad at myself that I finished it because the conclusion was horrid. It really ticked me off. I reread it more than once, the conclusion, and I'm still really irritated. So that was When the Lights Go Out. But check it out. Check out the reviews, though, if you want. This is An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. I've seen reviews of this. At least one of my friends has already read it, and I've had it forever. I got this one from Edelweiss, and I loved it. It was a psychological thriller. I gave it 4.5 stars. An Unwanted Guest reminded me of this book, which I'm going to be rereading, and that's And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I hope I can get to that in November. Let me tell you, you have 10 guests and 2 staffs and an unwanted guest. And just like And Then There Were One, they're murdered one by one. So, really, really good read. This book here, Last Lullaby by Carol Wire, is the second book in the Detective Natalie Ward series. It's a psychological thriller. It was absolutely fantastic. It's not going to be released, I believe, until December 7th, so it was an early read, but it was definitely a good one. 5 stars, yes. Here I was happy to finally have read or listened to Nora Roberts' Naked in Death. I downloaded this book from Audible maybe 7, 8 years, years ago, because I've always wanted to read the series. Well, at this rate, and according to my notes, there are 48 books as of next February in this series, the In Death series. I knew that it was going to be good because, first of all, the series has been going on for well over 20 years. But I also knew it was going to be good because a friend of mine jumped into the series and absolutely loved it. So I'm thrilled to have finally read it, and I want to try to at least get one done per month, time permitting. And if I ever catch up on my backlog, maybe even 2 a month. But it'll take me a couple of years at the bare minimum. The next book, and I'm almost at the end, is The Amish Teacher's Gift by Rachel J. Good. This is the first in the Love and Promises series. It's a Christian romance, inspirational, the very first of this type that I've read. It was an excellent, very sensitive book. I would love to do a video review of this one and the next one that I'll tell you about in a moment. This came out, I believe, last year, and it was just superb. The last book that I read was The Amish The Amish Midwife's Secret by Rachel J. Good. This is obviously the second book in the Love and Promises series. It was, again, just perfect. This one doesn't come out, I believe, until the end of November, November 27th, but I just could not wait to read it. I absolutely had to read it. And I have to thank my friend Fashawn because she kept telling me, Robin, read this book. It's different than anything you've read. Even though it's a Christian romance, you're not getting anything stuffed down your throat. It's just something about it. And she was right. With both of these books, get some tissues because they're absolutely wonderful. And as I mentioned, I think that even though I fell behind on my video reviews, I think I may do a combined video of the Amish Teacher's Gift and the Amish Midwife Secret. I'm not sure yet, but I'm looking forward to that. That is pretty much it for my October reads. The next video will either be that combined review or maybe the first of my November TBR. And I'll tell you more about that next time around. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.